Hopefully you'll be able to hear me okay. The rain's coming in now on my lovely tin roof and it can
Can't hear
get
it.
really
So we're
loud.
good.
Good. So how have we gone with our lessons?
Corley, you want to start?
Sure. So mine was the Holy Spirit in you forgives. Oh, that's interesting. I would have thought the Holy Spirit in me forgives. Anyway, the Holy Spirit in you forgives all things in you and in your brother. Oh, yeah. So you can tell I didn't have that in my whole forefront of my mind the whole time. But I do agree with it. And some brothers are easier to forgive than others.
I love that statement that Linda said from her man, which was judge but don't condemn.
Yeah.
And that just feels so right as far as an approach, because you have to judge, you have to have discernment, um, but that doesn't mean that you condemn. So that was awesome for me. Do you
I
want to
guess
go and then I'll go?
I'll put that statement before I start on my lesson. Also, I feel like we can't say yes to everybody. God might be able to, but on this plane, we can't say yes to everybody.
Nice.
So we need to be able to discern and we need judgment to actually work out whether we this is a good fit or not, whatever's happening.
Yeah, that is the absolute truth.
My lesson was my journal, just so I get the wording right. If if only you would find your way and keep it. See only truth beside you, for you walk together. And then out of that, I had a little epiphany. Our journeys through this life may appear separate. You can still find the common ground. So I've been using that. Yeah. And it's been an interesting couple of weeks last week, just in Perth for the whole time, doing meetings nonstop. It was exhausting. I didn't get to see Linda. I forgot to stop on my way home to drop in and see her because she's been working over here. But she's kind of almost halfway between Perth and now. I just kept on driving and forgot all about it. And but my work meetings went really well, and I feel like people got a lot of value because I have my expertise, but I wasn't telling them what to do. It was like these are the parameters you've got to work within. And this is like the figures that I've come up with, but then it's up to you what you want to do before the end of financial year. And got a lot of clarity, I think, beyond just the figures as well. And some of them are family meetings, so they had some insight into each other and how they work as a family business. So yeah, was a good lesson.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah. Hi, Jane.
So I had, I think, three. Yeah, I had three that I chose, and they were so helpful to me. And especially the first week after our meeting, I was sitting here at my desk and something happened. And I just went on a rant in my head. And I was like, oh no, oh no, 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 you're not going to go down that road. Like, just stop it right now. So I stopped myself and I read my lessons, which were, it is not up to you to change your brother, but merely to accept him as he is. To perceive errors in another and to react to them as if they were real is to make them real to you. My next one was the Holy Spirit in you forgives all things in you and in your brother. And my last one was you cannot correct yourself. Is it then possible for you to correct another? And I'm like, once I got done all those, I literally felt everything just leave me, and I got all my energy back, and it was awesome. I got an immediate shift, and I've been using those three for 2 weeks now. What I'm finding is that if I judge, and we're always judging, man, in my world, I will, because I hear so much stuff that oftentimes is really horrible about how people treat one another, especially men treating women in couples and men treating women in couples, and it's uh, it's horrible how people respond to one another. And so I think about it, I go, oh, God, how could that happen? How could they do that? Blah, 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 blah. And then I have to stop and I read through this and I like get myself back to balance. And it's like, it's all perfect ultimately. Um, One of the things that's also helping me, because I think, have I introduced the arrows to you guys? I know Coralie's got them, but I don't know if V's got them or Jane's got them. Do you guys have them? The arrows?
And for what?
Someday I'll show you it. But for Coralie,
I love it. Yeah.
they're brain mapping. They're to increase the neuroplasticity in the brain. They're built by a friend of mine who had permission to teach the first four neuroprimers. So you go through the arrows, but you're tapping as you go through them, and then at the very last arrow, you say a word that means something profound to you. So you start tapping into the linguistics and it installs it like nobody's business. And so my word is it's perfect. Like it's all perfect. I'll get to the end of the arrow line and go, it's perfect. Go the next arrow line, get to the end, it's perfect. And I do that all the way down the sheet. And the first time I did it, literally every hair on my body stood up on end. And I went, wow, like neurologically, it was a
Wow.
huge shift for me. So it's working at a level that NLP and all the other change work I know does not work on. It doesn't get to that really deep rewiring that you can feel the shifts happening in your body and blood flow to the brain. So it's pretty remarkable, actually. So, anyways, I've been using these, and I've been using it's perfect for no matter what, especially if I'm judging someone. If I go through the arrows, I go, it's perfect, or they're perfect. It really, really helps because I don't like the way it feels to judge and condemn. So I have to train the brain not to do that since we're so well trained in doing that. You have to train the brain not to do it.
Jane, did you have a lesson that you were working on?
I did. I did. It was the Holy Spirit in you doesn't, what was it? Doesn't judge, um, doesn't pass judgment on others. And, I find that I use it all the time. And I almost, of late, I enjoy getting triggered by another person because I know that is I'm closer in my journey to fixing me.
Mhm.
It's really that simple. And so tonight, of course, here it's Tuesday night in the US, on the East Coast. And I had dinner with a couple of people that I'm not terribly familiar with them. They're neighbors, and it was nice to get together. And I found myself being triggered left and right because how different they are to me and the way I was raised. And one of the people's from another culture. And I And I found myself being able to saying to them without them knowing it, good for you. Good for you. It's like, because I think so oftentimes, the judgment, the perfection that we live under, that umbrella all the time. It's like, and so it just feels really good to have maybe a judgment ping me, but then it's like, nope, not doing that. No, no. It's like, what else can I find here? And I'm like, and then I just went to the good for them kind of a thing. And then I go to good for me, because acceptance is tremendous. It's just
Mhm.
tremendous. So, and this Course in Miracles gives us this exactly. So I'm so grateful. Yeah.
I think the biggest gift for me so far is on this very, very subject is that when I don't judge and I don't condemn, or when I judge and not condemn,
Yeah.
then I'm uplifted. And that's something
Yes.
I've never experienced before with the Course in Miracles. It's like, oh, so this is the path. And that's
Yeah.
why you walk hand in hand into heaven with your brothers and sisters. And that's why oftentimes you're absolutely right, Jane. I don't look forward to being triggered, you know, because I'm pretty fiery. I mean, I am Latin, so I'm pretty fiery, and I get like, "Rah, rah, rah, rah," and then I wind myself back down to, oh, this is my opportunity to not judge, certainly not condemn, and to accept it all as perfect in the perfect place and the
Yeah.
perfect.
Y- Yeah. No, I know. But I'm also reminded of, as I said, the perfection umbrella that I used to carry even when it wasn't raining out. You know, just like, oh, I wouldn't do that way, or I wouldn't choose that. And it's like, well, I can so quickly get myself out of it. But it's the old, I'm going to call them tapes, because I had tapes before I had CDs. We all did. And now we
Mm.
don't even have that, or we barely have that. And so, yeah, yeah, it's good stuff.
Mm. I get that with the triggers too, Jane. I mean, I look back on when I used to be triggered and didn't realize it was a trigger. I didn't realize it was like not their fault. It was, it was all about what was going on in my head. It wasn't their fault at all. And
Not
now,
No.
their fault
now,
at all. Yeah, yeah,
I don't
yeah.
say I look forward to them either, but when I recognize it's like, oh, it's a trigger. What can I work on here? I'm more curious than like yeah. So the emotional charge isn't there most of the time anymore. So yeah.
Mm.
It's an amazing opportunity,
Mm.
right?
One thing,
Yeah.
one thing that I learned um, through this whole process of losing Robert's mom is that I so unexpectedly had a lot of grief, some anger rose in me, and I found myself being excited, like, wow, like what is this? Like what is this emotion? Because I couldn't define it. All I felt was amazingly sad and a little angry, and but just like it was very confusing to me. And then I realized I was like, oh, that's what it is. Because Doris and I lived together in the same house for 18 years, and I didn't really know her. Not even one time did she ask me anything about who I really was, ever in 18 years.
Wow.
I thought, oh my God. My father never knew who I was, never asked what I did for a living. I and my mother was always too preoccupied with her own pain. And I thought to myself, oh, this is what this is. It's a completely different level of feeling not seen, not heard, not acknowledged, not valued. And I never have been in touch with that before, like not ever. And I thought,
Wow.
wow, like what a gift. Like really, what a tremendous gift. Because it's a layer of my own healing that I've never even recognized. And you'd think it'd be obvious, but I'm too busy helping other people to really look too deeply to see that. And
Right.
it had to be
Right.
triggered off, and it got really triggered off by Doris's death. I thought I got robbed of the opportunity to really know her, have her know me. And, and then I thought, well, what a wonderful thing, or what a gift, actually. Now I know what I have to work on. So I'll dig into working on that with the TMRT process. But wow, I was really shocked. So no matter what and where we think we are in our journey, there always seems to be this I won't say deeper wound, but another layer to what we've worked on before that just helps us get a little bit deeper and a little clearer each time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited for the
Mm-hmm.
next month or so that I can spend some time doing that work on myself. It's going to be good.
Mm. Beautiful.
Yeah. That's the parting gift from Doris, I think, for me.
Wow. Wow.
I It's amazing. I think, I don't know, I understand exactly what you mean when your own family doesn't know who you are.
Hmm,
And
not
you
at
can tell
all.
on a day or, you know, what you qualify, what your work is, but they don't get it. And
Or they don't want
Right.
to know. Like they
yeah,
don't want to know.
because you don't fit
It's
into their little who you are anymore. You don't fit into that box anymore, so they don't get it.
no. I saw last time
Right.
I saw my dad, I saw him. We had spent 4 hours together, me and him and his wife and Robert. And at the end of the talk, Robert and I were walking to the car, and he goes, Gary, are you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm fine. He goes, do you realize in 4 hours, they never asked you one question about who you were, what you did, how you make a living. They don't know anything about you. And I'm like, I know. I'm used to it, but yeah, I know. And he was like, that's really hurtful. And I'm like, no, it's just that the karma's over, and we don't
Yeah.
have to be engaging at that level anymore. My dad and I are complete, and we were. But it was just so interesting to see how weird family of origin stuff can be. I don't know how
Yeah.
many of you felt seen, heard, acknowledged, understood by your family systems, but this is where the Course in Miracles, I think, becomes so powerful. Is like everyone in their own little bubble of their reality is in the perfect place for them at the time and the space they are.
Right.
And I can judge it and say I don't want to play there, but I certainly don't have to condemn it.
Right. Hmm.
I think that frees us all up if we can do that.
That's exactly what I feel like has been happening with as we're doing these lessons. I just liberating myself from what other people think of me because it doesn't matter, and what I think of them doesn't matter. It's
Mm-mm.
just so liberating.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a book by Terry Cole Whitaker, and the title of the book is What You Think of Me Is None of My Business.
Right. Yes.
Love the title. I love
Beautiful
it.
title.
Yeah.
Mm.
Right, let's see if Zoom's going to play. I can't even check it while we're recording. It's saying you cannot minimize the screen, so I'll just have to open it and see what it says. Cross fingers that it's going to play nice. Um,
We haven't been able to get Kindle to work yet, Jane, just so you know.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It's not even showing up on here as being open. Let me try something else. Talk amongst yourselves.
Well, it looks like I'm going to have to get myself a new Course in Miracles book.
It
So,
does.
yes, it does. Because I can only find my daily lessons, which is not going to help me read when we don't have Kindle. Uh,
It's not even going to open.
does anyone else have Course in Miracles on Kindle?
No. Got the book.
It's not even here. I can start reading from it, I guess. That's my
That'd be
only other
awesome.
option.
Where are we
Unless
at?
we're at page 168. We completed. Have you got the book, Carly?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you got the app, Gary? Because that was the app that we've been talking about with the pearls on the cover, the free app that's on the phone. I don't think I've got it anymore because it
Oh,
kept
but let me
falling.
go into apps and see if I can get that. Why? Huh. Why is that there? Let me go into, yeah, it should be under Safari. No, I better go to apps, the app store. That's where I'll find it. What do I search under? Course in Miracles?
ACIM.
ACIM. A Course in Miracles. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it's just not going to open up. Broken. I'll have to reinstall it, I think. All right. We are doing part 9 of chapter 9. The Holy Spirit's plan of forgiveness. Do you want me to wait until you've got the app, Gary, or?
I think I've got it.
I just pulled up online
I
um,
got it.
the text. It's not Kindle, but it's from the Foundation of Inner Peace, but it's the text. So we could see if we're clever enough to look at
Ooh,
my screen.
let's see.
It's
If you've got it,
ACIU.
do
Well,
you want to?
we could try sharing my screen and seeing if that works for
Yes.
us. Shall we give it a go?
Yeah. I will just see if can you see if you can share? I'm not all right. If you can't, I'll see where the authority is so I can make you help. Oh, cool.
What are you guys
Fabulous.
seeing? Can you see the Holy Spirit's plan of forgiveness?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is
Beautiful.
it? Are we on page 168?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
is that where we were?
Yes.
Whereabouts were we? Were
We
we
are
just
just
going to
starting. We're starting this
Oh,
section. Yes, that's perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, who wants to read it?
I'll go ahead.
Cool.
Atonement is all because it is the way to undo the belief that anything is for you alone. To forgive is to overlook. Look then beyond error and do not let your perception rest upon it. For you will believe what your perception holds. Accept as true only what your brother is, if you would know yourself. Perceive what he is not, and you cannot know who you are, because you see him falsely. Remember always that your identity is shared, and that its sharing is its reality.
Hmm.
There's 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 something deeper in that statement. Does anybody else feel that?
I do. I do. Hmm.
I just do. I'm going to read it again if that's okay.
Please do. Yes.
Mhm.
Atonement is for all because it is the way to undo the belief that anything is for you alone. To forgive is to overlook. Look then beyond error and do not let your perception rest upon it, for you will believe what your perception holds. Accept as true only what your brother is if you would know yourself. Perceive what he is not, and you cannot know what you are because you see him falsely. Remember always that your identity is shared, and in that, its sharing is its reality. So I get from that what you see and identify and claim as real and true, that's what you become.
I feel this relates so closely to what you were just talking about with family not seeing you, and how for you, Gary, and for me as well, it doesn't matter anymore
No, ultimately it
because
doesn't matter at all.
I know who I am now, and it doesn't matter how anybody else perceives that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It doesn't take
Mm.
anybody else's validation. It doesn't take anybody's anything.
Right.
exactly.
Right.
I'm just a little bit confused with to forgive is to overlook, look then beyond error. So is forgiving not enough then because you're overlooking rather than examining?
I'm interpreting overlook as to bypass it like it was nothing. Like just to overlook it means not to dwell upon it.
Hmm.
Because it says, look then beyond error and do not let your perception rest upon it, for you will believe what your perception holds. So whatever you focus on that other person, that's what you will become, or that's what you will believe. You'll
Gotcha.
believe whatever we're focusing on.
Mm. We believe what we see. We see what we believe, I should say.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Wayne Dyer's book, You'll See It When You Believe It.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Is everybody good with that first one?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Although I've just come up with a little thing out of that. Love is only when you are truly seen. And I look at past relationships and realize that I probably haven't been seen.
Hmm.
And that's why it's never
Mm.
really felt. it's never felt like a true kind of partnership.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I feel overseen or not seen a lot
Mm.
in a lot of relationships. Mm.
But then again, if we go back to that other idea that it doesn't matter if you're not seen, if you know yourself, then it doesn't
Mm.
seem to matter so much.
Mm.
So yeah, again, it's not my fault. It's not their fault.
Right. No, it's not. But but isn't there such a joy and delight when you are seen and when
Yes.
you see another?
Mm.
Yes, yes. That's why these
It's
calls are
undeniable.
it's such a good part of such an important part of my week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm happy now. Number two, shall I read that one?
Yeah, go for it.
You have a part to play in the atonement, but the plan of the atonement is beyond you. You do not understand how to overlook errors, or you would not make them. It would merely be further error to believe either that you do not make them, or that you can correct them without a guide to correction. And if you do not follow this guide, your errors will not be corrected. The plan is not yours because of your limited ideas about what you are. This sense of limitation is where all errors arise. The way to undo them, therefore, is not of you, but for you.
Mm.
So
Could
there's a
you
bit of
read that?
trust required then,
Could you
because
read
you're
that
part of
again?
the plan. Sorry, Gary.
Could you read that again?
Sure. The whole thing?
Yeah.
Yep. I'll read a bit slower this time too. I tend to read too fast a lot of the time. You have a part to play in the atonement, but the plan of the atonement is beyond you. You do not understand how to overlook errors, or you would not make them. It would merely be further error to believe either that you do not make them, or that you can correct them without a guide to correction. And if you do not follow this guide, your errors will not be corrected. The plan is not yours because of your limited ideas about what you are. This sense of limitation is where all errors arise. The way to undo them, therefore, is not of you, but for you.
Mm. Okay. Mm.
It reminds me of the notion that the universe is always for us. Not sometimes, not most of the time.
Mm.
It's always for us.
Mm.
And and that's to me that's what that's saying. It doesn't have anything to do with you only to the extent of are you aware? Are you mindful enough to know that it's for you at all times?
Mm.
So keen, so many of us are can be so keen on victimization. I'm a victim. I've been wronged, and it's like you really haven't. It's like what?
Yeah, that's not going to go down well with many people.
Many times people thirst for someone to blame because it's
Oh
so
yes. Oh yeah.
it's
Well,
it's
some people call that their peace. It's like, oh, but if you only knew what peace was.
Mm.
But how can you be a victim if there's no one to blame?
Oh, come on, V, live a little.
Might not even be other people. You might be a victim of pain. Yeah, you gotta
Well,
everyone your
then
pain.
aren't we saying we're a victim of ourselves?
Yes. Also wouldn't go down well with a lot of people.
Right.
So, I feel like this is a little bit of a check as well. It would merely be further error to believe either that you do not make them or that you can correct them without a guide. So I feel like I've come a long way, but that doesn't mean, and I feel like I know who I am a lot more than I used to after what we've been talking about today. But there's always further to go, isn't there?
Always.
Always. Always.
And a reminder to not be too arrogant about that.
Yeah.
Understanding. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Acting like we.
sorry, carry on, Jane.
No, go ahead.
I just said I was saying that it's talking to us. Like we can't overlook errors. So there's no point looking any further because we can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the errors we see, I guess, are our lesson to look a little deeper.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. It kind of seems that tonight as a group, we're kind of marveling at, I mean, I think we are always in a state of, as a group, in a state of like aha moments and light bulb moments, but tonight seems especially keen, and just like there is that element of marveling about it and saying it's like taking stock and making it ours. When you can make something yours and really adopt it. And I guess that's what we do when we come back a week later. How you doing in making it yours?
Definitely.
Because it's ours for the taking.
Absolutely. Does that need any further breaking up or shall we move on?
I'm good.
I'm good, yeah.
Who's going to read number 3? Curly?
Okay. The atonement is a lesson in sharing, which is given you because you have forgotten how to do it. The Holy Spirit merely reminds you of the natural use of your abilities. By reinterpreting the ability to attack into the ability to share, he translates what you have made into what God created. If you would accomplish this through him, you cannot look on your abilities through the eyes of the ego, or you will judge them as it does. All their harmfulness lies in the ego's judgment. All their helpfulness lies in the judgment of the Holy Spirit.
last sentence, all their helpfulness lies in the judgment of the Holy
Yeah.
Spirit. Does that word strike you as wrong? The word
It's,
judgment? The judgment of the Holy Spirit?
It's a bit
it's
confusing.
to it's to judge to I guess I can see how you would absolutely see it like that. And if you think about it in that context, yeah, but how I'm taking it is a judgment of the Holy Spirit is to choose to see only the Spirit or the oneness of another. Um, and that's the judgment of the Holy Spirit. Like there's unification
Oh,
throughout.
okay. So like maybe discern might be the word
That
I could use.
Yeah, but I do like the play on comparing it to the ego's judgment and then the judgment of the Holy
Right,
Spirit.
that's true. Yeah,
It
yeah.
really shows this diverse split
Right, right,
because the judgment of the Holy Spirit is not judgment at all. It's
right,
allowed.
exactly. But it would make for a wonderful grandstand play. If there's going to be any judgment around here tonight, it's going to be with me, the Holy Spirit. Oh, that's worth the price of admission
That
to
would
see
be.
that. Hmm.
Do you want to take number four? Unless we have
Sure.
more to talk about number three.
I'm good. We're good?
Yep.
Hmm.
Okay. The ego, too, has a plan of forgiveness because you are asking for one, though not of the right teacher. The ego's plan, of course, makes no sense and will not work. By following its plan, you will merely place yourself in an impossible situation to which the ego always leads you. The ego's plan is to have you see error clearly first and then overlook it. Yet, how can you overlook what you have made real? By seeing it clearly, you have made it real and cannot overlook it. This is where the ego is forced to appeal to mysteries, insisting that you must accept the meaninglessness to save yourself. Many have tried to do this in my name, forgetting that my words make perfect sense because they come from God. They are as sensible now as they ever were, because they speak of ideas that are eternal. Is anyone confused by the sentence, the ego's plan is to have you see error clearly first and then overlook it?
Hmm.
I get confused by what comes after that.
Yeah,
Well, if you see the error, you've made it real.
Yes.
Or to identify the error, so you've made it real.
right.
So you can't really overlook it.
Yes.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
What I find interesting about it, the whole forgiveness piece around the ego is when people say that they forgive, they generally hold this space of superiority. Like I am so
Mm,
magnanimous that I forgive you. But it's
Mm.
done
mhm.
out of the sense of, you're less than me, and look how elevated I am, so therefore I forgive you, further creating
Right.
this separation and idea that the ego is somehow, the thing that must be identified with, when it's just the
Mm,
opposite. It's so entrapping.
right. Right. So true. Hmm.
So we try to squeeze in number five.
Sure.
V, you want to read?
Sure, number 5. Forgiveness that is learned of me does not use fear to undo fear, nor does it make it real, nor does it make real the unreal and then destroy it. Forgiveness through the Holy Spirit lies simply in looking beyond error from the beginning and thus keeping it unreal for you. Do not let any belief in its realness enter your mind, or you will also believe that you must undo what you have made in order to be forgiven. What has no effect does not exist, and to the Holy Spirit the effects of error are non-existent. By steadily and consistently cancelling out all its effects, everywhere and in all respects, he teaches that the ego does not exist and proves it.
Mhm.
Hmm, is right. Kind of clarifies a little bit forgiveness from the Holy Spirit. It's a different thing
Hmm.
altogether than forgiveness from the ego.
Mm.
Yeah, I love this one part. It says forgiveness through the Holy Spirit lies simply in looking beyond the error from the beginning and thus
Mm.
keeping it unreal for you.
Yeah,
That seems to be the trick.
Mm.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. The next line is super important, you guys. It says, do not let any belief in its realness enter your mind, or you will also believe that you must undo what you have made in order to be forgiven. I think that's a really important phrase.
It kind of helps me understand what they're talking about with overlooking as well now.
Yeah,
Because
Mm.
yeah, you don't want to explore that. It's
no.
over. Literally.
Anyone have any questions on this one or additional comments?
I've got my lesson for the week now.
Me too.
I do. I've kind of made it up from there, but I might include that sentence that you've just read out too, Gary. Is my forgiveness creating separation or atonement?
Hmm. Mine is accept as true only what your brother is if you would know yourself.
Mm. Mine is something that I've kind of made up just from feeling so inspired here tonight. And it's that I accept the Holy Spirit and all its teachings. Now, that doesn't mean that I get it wholly, completely. I'm going to ascend to heaven right now. I know that's not going to happen, but just to be able to say that I accept the teachings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. I
Carly?
just can't.
Mine is look beyond error from the beginning.
Mm.
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 I
Wow.
have a new. I want to share it real quick. Um, Seeing my brother as he truly is my gateway to heaven.
Mm.
Mm. Can you say that
Mm.
again?
Seeing my brother as he truly is my gateway to heaven.
Beautiful. Hmm. We need to create a book with all the sayings that you've come up with, Gary, from reading these, because sometimes, and Jane as well,
Yeah.
sometimes not actually a sentence from the course. It's what we've explored here, and my
Mm.
lesson comes away from one of you people, or even from me. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Mm. I just have to ask you, I just finished watching a series that's based in Australia, A Place to Call Home.
Right?
Are you familiar with it?
No.
No. Okay. Just I was curious. It was like such a beautiful series. It was 5 seasons long, and I think of those of you who are New Zealand, Australia, and it brought me a little bit more understanding of the history.
Mm.
So I'm
Mm.
just curious if you'd seen it, and how much is it, being portrayed as real.
I'll have to
But
keep an eye
for
on
another
it.
time.
But this has been an interesting book that I've read for, it's backwards, for book club,
What is it?
and it's called Chai Time at Cinnamon Gardens, and I've been reading a lot of stuff with book club where the ladies talking about the generations of Australians coming right from the convicts, and so we're talking about historical type from a very white perspective most of the
Now,
time,
did
and
you
even
say Cinema Garden?
in Cinnamon Gardens, Chai Time
Oh,
at Cinnamon.
cinnamon.
Yeah. And this lady is Australian, but she's Sri Lankan. And so it's talking also about immigrant. This is like a whole fresh perspective of immigration, cultural clashes, and it's yeah, and reverse racism, and all sorts of interesting concepts come from that, including fighting over land. Sri Lanka, has had so many different generations fighting over land. Because
Hmm.
they've come from,
Hmm.
there's a Buddhist and a Hindu and a Muslim component to all of that, and they fight over it, and it just doesn't really make any sense. But this is what happened.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm.
Sri Lanka is really the melting pot of the three major religions.
yeah,
It's
yes.
quite interesting.
Yeah, it's given me
Mm.
a whole human perspective on it, actually.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Thanks for
Well,
sharing that.
thank you,
Okay,
everybody.
gang, we're off for another week.
Yeah,
Let's rock and roll with our lessons, see how good we can do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah,
everybody.
absolutely. Oh, have a wonderful week.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you too.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Oh, I do too. Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.